Episode 4 of Skeleton Crew is 38 minutes long, and we see where it starts off where they get to Atten, or so we think. They get off their Star Cruiser spaceship, and then they look around, and Neil's like, this isn't home. And they figure out that it's not Atten. It's another planet that looks like it, maybe a twin planet or a sister planet, but this is at Akron. And it's like, oh, okay. So then, as they're trying to, scour the land, the wasteland, they get taken by two young soldiers, kids, or the French, whoever you want to call them. And then they get taken to the father, and they put into a kind of battle, get prepared for battle for war. And it's like, what is going on? What is interesting? What I love about this episode is that it's heavy forward on Neil. Neil is becoming one of my favorite Star Wars characters in a very, very long time. He's really well spoken. The character is really well written. Very cute. Kind of cute onto the aspect with how cute Grogu is. But Neil is more so of a, in a way, who really calms down and knows everything, even though he's a little kid. He then talks with the young girl who's the warrior, the French girl, and says, why don't you just say I'm sorry and stop fighting and everything? Back on my home planet at Atten, we don't have any of this, and this is really, really good. We then see that these warriors are the Trike warriors, or the Trican warriors, and then, Jadna which saves the kids. They go up to the towers, and then it kind of teases certain potentials of the lore of Star Wars. Because remember, this takes place after the events of Return of the Jedi, but it's set in the same world as The Mandalorian. So while The Mandalorian is happening, this story's happening, which I'm pretty sure is. And it's just fun because Neil is just so good as a character. Then they get to where they're supposed to get to. And then they see the coordinates of every planet there at Akron, at whatever it is, and at Atten. But it's not there. It's destroyed. And then SM-33 is like, oh, I destroyed it. And then his mind gets all fogged again. Fern goes off. She starts crying, but then she also has an epiphany after speaking with Wim. Fern goes to 33. He's like, I want you to override all the systems that you know about at Atten and tell me what happened. So evidently, SM-33 knew about everything because he was there already. He's the one that destroyed the coordinates because his former captain told him to. But if anybody started speaking of it, to go after them and rip them limb from limb. And it's like, okay, SM-33 is now in crazy droid mode. When everything happens, that happens. And we've seen all the droids do that in any Star Wars lore that you've seen, movies, TV shows. And it's funny because where is this leading to? Neil kind of saves the day by throwing a few rocks at 33, and then as 33 is going to Neil, Would shuts off 33. He falls, and Neil's like, yeah, sure, no problem. Yeah, I saved you guys. And then Neil just passes out and faints. This was a fun episode. It was a good episode. We're learning more about what's going on. Why the coordinates of at Atten were destroyed. What is at Akron? What is the aspect and why is SM-33 doing certain things? Who was his original captain? Was it Jadna Wood or was it someone else? Was it Brutus? We don't know. And what's the whole story and what is really happening? And how much lore is everything going to be? And is Wim right about certain things about, the Jedi, the Sith, and it's lore. For them, it's like a fantasy. It really is for these kids, for Wim especially. But then it's like, okay, they did a good job with coming up original ideas for this. Listen, John Watts, Christopher Ford, give me more because I want to see what's going to happen. This episode was directed by Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert, who directed Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Christopher Ford and John Watts also wrote it. Now, this is episode 4. This season is 8 episodes in total. I feel like this will get a second season because it's much more popular. The budget for this is close to, I believe, $100 million, which is fine, which is good. So far, it's been done well. It's a space adventure. It's a coming-of-age story that we never really got to see in Star Wars history and lore. And it's the Goonies in Star Wars form, which is really, really fun. But it begs the question, Will the end payoff be worth it? Will they make it home? What will happen? Neil recognizing the cycle of violence that's going on, with one side, it's like, you can stop this. Neil is the brains behind this all. Wim is just going on an adventure. Fern is scared, and KB's like kind of the human aspect of who wears a cybernetic, visor connected to an implant on her head, but she knows everything. She figures it out. She's the smart one. And Nick Frost as the voice of SM33. So good. What is the reasoning behind all of this? Why is Atten a secret? What is the treasure? Is it under the planet? Are they mining it? What is going on? What is the true story? We're definitely going to get the explanation of how everything is happening. The thing is, will it be a surprise? Will it be a shock? And how will it connect everything to the Star Wars universe? That's what we have to wait and see to find out. Love this show for what it is. If you're a Star Wars fan and you gave up on watching the Star Wars shows because they've been bad or semi-good, this one is worth checking out and watching. This episode, you will fall in love with Neil, and you will not let that go, because such a good character, so cute and really, really funny at times, and he's my favorite right now. I want Neil figurines right now. Just make it happen. Give them to me. But I'm curious to see how 5, 6, 7, and 8 episodes will go. Let me know in the comment section below what you thought about episode 4 of Star Wars Skeleton Crew. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you think of it? Do you like that the episodes are 30 to 45 minutes long? Do you think they could stretch it out to an hour? Do you like where the story's going? Who's your favorite character? Who's your least favorite character? And do you think Neil has become a fan favorite? And where do you think the story's going? And even though it's an original story, do you like everything that's happening so far? Let me know in the comment section below about all the questions I just asked. I'm Mr. Filmstock. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll see you all in the next review video. And be sure you tune in next week to my episode 5 review of Star Wars Skeleton Crew.